Christopher Robin and I walked along under branches lit up by the moon, posing our questions to Al and Dio as our days disappear all too soon.
I have a very special guest today on Passionate Living. This is an artist, singer, songwriter, Emmy Award-winning, brilliant musician who I have been listening to my whole life. He's a big part of the fabric of my soul, and who I am blessed to know this lifetime as a dear friend. And I want to introduce him to all of you today. I have Kenny Loggins here with me. Kenny, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kat. It's good to be here.
You've had like the most amazing career. I mean, it's had so many different incarnations.
Yeah.
Starting out, and then of course you in Jimmy Messina back in the early days. One of my great exciting moments this lifetime was when you took me to Jimmy's surprise 60th birthday party when he was up in San Ynez. And I got to see the two of you interact. It was so fun. It was so much fun. I was looking so forward to that.
Yeah, pretty weird.
Well, you really were like brothers, and
It's in all ways. Yeah. We could definitely get on each other's nerves like brothers.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
That's a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and to start out in those days with your Mama Don't Dance and all of those cool with. I love that music.
Yeah. And then I went from that to a completely switch in styles to Celebrate Me Home, and started writing with keyboard guys, because I started hearing chord changes that I didn't know how to play on the guitar. And so I would sit with piano players and I'd sing these melodies and I'd say, I think it's kind of like that, but I didn't play piano. So I had to kind of say, give me this note and this note, and they'd say, oh, well, you mean this? I was like, yeah.
So tell me, what have you been up to? What have you been doing during this strange time that we've all been experiencing?
Well, I've done a few of those home concerts.
Right.
I did mostly, I waited until we could have a couple of musicians because I'd rather do it as a trio. The first real concert, so-called concert that I did was in the Libero Theater, which is like a 150-year-old theater in Santa Barbara.
I love it there. It's so gorgeous.
And so we were on the stage at the Libero Theater, Rick Cowling and Tarek Akoni, a guitar player here in town. And we did it, 6 feet apart with a camera person circling us, and then about 5 stationary cameras around us. And did a live performance out of that. And then...
Did you raise funds with it?
Yeah, we're raising money for venues all around the country. And there's an organization that has unified all these small promoters, meaning, small venue promoters. And so they're just looking for, like so many people, they're looking for financial help during a period of time. It's very difficult for those of us who make our living performing, because there's not a lot of avenues to get that performance out there or to show up anywhere. So it's been a slim times for that.
Now you have lived the most amazing life. So many people have listened to your music, love your music because of the soulfulness of the heart. I remember you've told me a few times that was even someone in your family used to, because you wrote about everything going on in your life, but that is what touches people, because you really wrote from your heart the whole time.
I think a lot of people say that it's that what I write about is like the soundtrack to everybody's lives, because we all go through so much of the same stuff. I mean, there really is only so much stuff we're going to go through. And love and relationship, of course, is the go-to for most musicians. but also inner work and the relationship to, the philosophical relationship to life itself and the things we do in our lives. And so it's all fodder for my art, of course. And I think it is for really every artist, whether they admit it or not.
You told me a story once that I just loved about you had just recorded, I'm trying to look at the album, and you had the reels and your van got stolen.
Oh, right. That's Leap of Faith.
Where all the dreams that we once had, this is the time to bring them back. What were the promises caught on the tips of our tongues?
I was about halfway through that, and I got a message. Columbia Records. I was on Columbia Records, and they hired a new president of the company.
Right.
And the president came in and said, "So what's up with Loggins?" And everybody said, "We haven't heard anything." And I was a sizable amount of money into the production of that album. And my engineer's motto was "Take more time, spend more money."
Right.
And so the president, this new fella, Donnie Einer, he wanted to come in and hear the record, wanted to know where the money was going. Simultaneously with that, I decided to move my production from LA up to Santa Barbara, where I was living. And so we loaded everything in a U-Haul. And that included a Mitsubishi 32-track digital machine, which in those days was like the super high-end digital recording.
Right.
And amps and guitars. And on the way up to Los Angeles, the fella driving the truck stopped for some lunch at Denny's or something. And when he came out, the truck was gone. And everything, including my master tapes, had been on that truck, and everything was stolen. And simultaneously, then I hear from Donnie Einer's office, Donnie wants to hear the record. I don't have the record. It's out there somewhere. And but what I have is copies. What in those days were called slave tapes, that you would have the master reel that would run, and then the slave would follow it electronically. And then you could record new material on the slaves that would then later on be dubbed together to make the whole record. And we were trying to figure out, well, what do we do? I had to make a decision. Am I going to keep recording as if I have the masters and hope for the truck to be found and the masters to be found? Or do I try to rebuild the masters to have something to show Donnie Einer?
Right.
And I knew that the feeling I'd had from creating that album was that it was a very, guided kind of work. So I decided to just keep recording as if I had the masters and trust that they would come back. And I just had a really strong feeling in my body. I wasn't nervous about it at all. I knew they were going to return. And about a week before Donnie wanted to hear the record, he gave us a month to put it together. A week before, the police found the truck, and everything had been stolen except the master tapes, which had been moved up to the cab of the truck and locked up in the cab.
Like they knew. It's almost like they knew that.
Yeah. Maybe it was a fan, Yeah. We won't take the recordings, but we need the gear.
Right.
So we got the tapes back, and I had 4 days to reassemble the album now, to put everything together. And it was the first time that I'd heard the whole album at once. And Terry Nelson, my engineer, and I stayed up for 2 days to piece everything together. And he loved the record, and he ended up ultimately releasing 5 singles from the record, which had never happened to me in my whole career.
Wow.
You're lucky if you get 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and speaking of luck, at the same time that happened, a new radio format appeared. And the radio format was called Adult Contemporary.
Right.
I became the darling of Adult Contemporary.
Kenny, thank you so very, very much for joining me today on Passionate Living. It has been such a joy to catch up with you. I miss you. This
Yeah.
has been beautiful.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to bring joy to everybody out there watching.
Yeah. I'm glad to do it. It's good to see you again.
Thanks. Thanks so much.
Sure. Thank you, Jackson, for making this thing happen tonight.
Thank you, Kenny, for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today on this magical ride into Passionate Living. Join us each week on Tuesday and Thursday evenings at 8 and Sunday mornings at 11. Plus, you can view segments of our show on YouTube at passionateliving.tv or on our website at passionateliving.com. Our goal in producing the show is to inspire you to live your dreams, as your journey will end up affecting the world around you in a powerful way. We hope you'll join us each week as we journey into the realms of passionate living. Until our next adventure, remember to take at least one baby step to bring you a little closer to living your dreams.